Hello and welcome to the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. My name is Monica Mancillas. I'll be your moderator today for the Celebrating the Familia in Picture Books panel. Before we get started, please take a moment to read our anti-harassment policy in the chat box. I'm going to introduce all of these beautiful panelists that we have with us today. First, we have Michael Genhart right there next to me. Hello, Michael. Michael is a PhD. He's the author of 11 picture books, including his most recent, May Your Life Be Deliciosa, and they're so flamboyant. Some of his other titles include Accordionly, Abuelo and Opa Make Music, Rainbow, A First Book of Pride, Love is Love, and I See You. Many of Michael's books are inspired by his work as a clinical psychologist, being a gay dad and growing up in a multicultural family. Hi, Michael. So good to see you today. Our next panelist is Ana Siqueira. Ana is a Spanish language elementary teacher and award-winning Brazilian children's author. Her picture books include Bella's Recipe for Disaster/Success, If Your Babysitter is a Bruja, and Abuela's Super Capa. Besides writing, Ana loves to read, teach, and play with her Cuban, Brazilian, American grandchildren. That's an amazing mix. Hi, Ana. Good to see you. Our next panelist is Alexandra Katona. Alexandra has been writing stories since she was young, but Dinner on Domingos is her debut picture book. When she's not writing, she loves to hike and surf with her family. Alexandra is a communications consultant for the specialty coffee industry. She lives with her husband, son, and dogs in Southern California. Hi, Alex. And our last panelist is Joana Pastro. Joanna is always wanted to be an artist of some sort, so she became an architect. But once her first child was born, all the visits to the library and the countless story times made Joanna start dreaming of becoming a children's book author. After a lot of reading, writing, and revising, her dream is coming true. Her books include Lily Bell, A Damsel Not in Distress, and BISA'S Carnaval. Originally from Brazil, Joanna now lives in Florida with her family. Hi, Joanna. And I am Monica Mancillas. I am a musician, singer-songwriter. I am a music teacher and also an author of books for children, picture books and middle grade. So I'm so happy to see you all. I'm going to ask everyone to tell us a little bit about your book. Michael, can we start with you?
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. So May Your Life Be Deliciosa is the story of an abuela who shows her granddaughter, her nieta, Rosie, how to make tamales at a tamalada, this family gathering, this tamale making party. And every step along the way, she's not only showing her granddaughter how to make a delicious tamale, but she imparts a little wisdom about life every step along the way. So she's also helping her to learn how to have a delicious life as well.
Yeah. I love that. What an amazing title. Thank you. Ana, tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay, my debut book, The Bella's Recipe for Disaster Success, is illustrated by Geraldine Rodriguez. And it's about Bella, and she's trying to find what she's good at. But she tries and she quits because she thinks, oh, I'm not good at anything. And she's really sad. But her abuela kind of guides her to show that it's okay to try again and that you will be making mistakes, but you should be quitting. So really, the story, she will be baking polvorones with dulce de leche with her abuela and learning also some lessons like, making mistakes is part of your life and you shouldn't quit. It's always, you can always try again.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ana. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah. So my book is called Dinner on Domingos. It's illustrated by Claudia Navarro, and it's really a love letter to family dinners. In particular, it was about going to my abuelita's house every Sunday for dinner growing up. There's also a little bit of like that multi-generational chaos that I loved, and a little bit too about learning a new language in order to connect with my abuelita.
Thanks, Alex. Joanna, tell us about your book.
So my book is BISA'S CARNAVAL, and so it's about Clara and her Bisa, her great grandma, as prepare. It shows them preparing for Carnival, gathering supplies and buying fabrics to prepare costumes for Clara and her cousins. And as they go, and they go for the streets of Olinda, doing all of that, and suddenly when the day comes, Clara realizes that something is missing and she needs to figure out how to solve that. So it's about love, it's about family, and it's about this beautiful celebration in Brazil.
Thank you, Joanna. And I'll just quickly tell you a little bit about my book. Mariana and Her Familia comes out next year, October 4th of 2022. And it's about a little girl who goes to visit her family in Ensenada, Mexico for the first time and struggles to find her place in the family. And through food and stories and games, she finally does find out that she's always been part of the family, even if she didn't realize that she was. Okay, so we're gonna jump into some questions. My first question is, what part did your own familia play in the inspiration for your book? And we'll start with Michael.
So in my family, my mother is Mexican American. I thought I would show you a little photo of her. She's the taller of the two little girls. Can you guys see that? Standing next to her sister, my tia, and in front of my abuelos. This is in Southern California. One of my most favorite holidays and traditions in our family was having that tamalada, where the family gathered, the women and this little boy, me. Oh, I'm wearing my apron too, my tamale apron for the occasion. Anyway, we would gather on Christmas Eve day in my abuela's kitchen or my tia's kitchen and have a tamalada, make dozens and dozens of tamales. But really, it was a gathering of storytelling and music and dancing. It just was my favorite place to be, right? On that day. Super fun, a lot of work, but in the end, of course, super yummy, because then everyone gathered and we had these delicious tamales. And so, I think family is so central to Mexican American households. It was in my case, and it is the theme of many of my books. And this story comes straight from my heart, and I hope reaches the heart of readers as well. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Michael. Ana, how did your own familia and upbringing or experiences play into your book?
Well, my book was inspired by my daughter because she was kind of Bella. She was really great. She was really smart and gifted, but she would quit when she was not doing great. So I wanted to show the kids that you should try again. But it is also, I do have an abuela. And for me, my grandmas were the best grandmas ever. In Brazil, we call vovó. So my vovós were really amazing. Like they never even had, I don't remember them ever arguing with me or being mad at me for any reason ever. And I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. And then I am also, and my mom was a great vovó, and I'm a great vovó and abuela because my family is Cuban, Brazilian American. So some of my grandkids call me vovó, some will call abuela. Nobody calls me grandma, either abuela or vovó. So for me, I don't know, that abuelas is is such a special relationship that you have. Yeah, it's all about spoiling and and really having that partnership with the kids. Like my granddaughter, when she sees me, she says, "Does that? But don't let my mom see." And we kind of sneaky, and do things like. So it's all based on that, the family relationship, and my grandmas and me as a grandma. I think it's such an important relationship, and that was a lot of my books have abuelas too, so you're gonna be see that, or vovós or abuelas, depending on what I'm writing.
It's hard to imagine you being a little traviesa. Sounds like you were, Ana.
I,
Thank
I,
you.
I was very traviesa. Yeah.
Okay, Alex, can you tell us a little bit about how your own family experiences played into your book?
Yeah, I mean, Dinner on Domingos is pretty much spot on for how our Sunday dinners went. I didn't really have to be super creative because there's always a lot of chaos and drama with those. So the book kind of wrote itself in a way. I think what I was shocked to find was when I started writing about it, how vivid all the memories were, even though it had been like a significantly, like a very long amount of time since we all really did that consistently on Sundays because I had moved. But yeah, it's pretty much all based on my really like tender moments with my family, and just like Michael said earlier, it's like a story really close to my heart. So yeah, it's pretty much just spot on. My family.
Thank you, Alex. Joanna, can you tell us a little bit about how your family experiences played into the writing of your book?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. For this particular book, I think it's all my mom and her mom before. That Because my mom, she is like a maker and a problem solver. So like I grew up with her, like recycling everything, making stuff for us, like even through financial hardship or not, she would always like she always recycles, and she just loves to make stuff, and she loves to be creative. So I think it came pretty naturally that the story behind BISA'S Carnaval would be one of a child making something with an older relative. So yeah, because my mom, it was, and I remember this particular event where one carnaval, my mom, I talked on the phone with a friend, and she was going to be in a costume contest that afternoon, and my costume was pretty common one. So my mom, just like when she saw that I wanted to do that, she simply, like, she grabbed some fabric that she had laying around, and she just sat down on her sewing machine and made the costume for me. And I remember sitting by her side and watching and helping. So but the funny thing about this is that I only really remember that after I wrote the book. So it's just something that is a part of me, and it was in my subconscious. And yeah, so I think that's what it is. And I said that it comes from my grandma also, because my grandma was a seamstress, and she used to sit in front of like shop windows and copy the dresses, little girls' dresses, to make for her kids. So it's like it runs in the family, I guess, and it's a big part of us, of who we are.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Joanna. My own book was, again, just like all of you, based on my own personal experiences. I grew up in San Diego, which is right on the border of Mexico. And my family lived in Ensenada, which is about an hour and a half south of the border. So, we would go down for special occasions and holidays. And even though I was born there, I lived there until I was 2 years old. And my abuelita's house was always very special to me, because that was, even if I didn't have memories, there was some really visceral attachment to that house. There still is. But every time we crossed the border, that drive was so nerve-wracking to me, just crossing the border and seeing immediately the difference in the culture, the difference in the landscape. And Spanish was my first language, but I also struggled with it over time, because I went to school and I was speaking English. And even though both of my parents were fluent Spanish speakers, for some reason, they didn't speak to me in Spanish in the home. I was also very fair-skinned and have green eyes, so I heard a lot of, "You don't look Mexican." and I would show my passport. I am Mexican. But it was very nerve-wracking for me to go down and reintegrate every time into this family. And then as soon as I got there, there was this just outpouring of unconditional love. And so every time it was going in with nerves, leaving with this feeling of warmth. And I'm so glad that I came down and got to see my abuelitos and my primos and my tios. And so again, inspired by a very personal experience. So thank you all for sharing a little bit about the background, that the inspiration for your stories. What do you hope that your readers will learn about family or their place in the family from reading your book? Michael, we'll start with you.
I think family is the first classroom for kids, and so I hope that they learn a lot. Well, it's where you learn about your own family and about what it means to be in a family. You learn about your ancestors, your values and customs in your family from multiple generations, right? So I hope that readers will see family as a source of support and culture, but also identity, right? And hopefully a source of fun and joy and celebration. In terms of my book, I hope the readers will take away the importance of tradition within family, and embedded in my story is storytelling itself. So I hope that they appreciate the beauty of storytelling, the beauty of oral tradition, right, where stories are passed on from one generation to the next. I remember my grandmother, who was quite the storyteller, especially during the tamaladas, telling us stories of her childhood, right, and about her grandparents. Some of these stories were just funny, and some were super spooky. And anyway, I just love the richness of storytelling too. So I hope that readers will take that away, and also because the kids are going to inherit their family stories and hopefully pass them on to their children. So I hope that they also find their part in their own family story as well. Yeah.
I love that, Michael. Ana, what do you hope that your readers will learn about family or their place in the family from your book?
Well, Bella, at first, she's really jealous of her siblings because her brother can play the piano so well, and the sister can do 14 cartwheels in a row. And she tries to do a lot of things. And sometimes we are jealous as siblings, right? Uh, for a while, I would be like, this is not fair. I think I'm adopted because my parents are not being fair to me, And we always had that thing like, what is our space in this family? But we are all special in some way for our family. We might not be the best in playing the piano, but you're going to be the best in something. So I want the readers to know, like, don't be comparing yourself to your siblings, and just find your passion and be good at what you are, and just try your best. And I think I was always great at I always loved telling stories, so we would all gather together, and I would tell scary stories. I would do little plays. I always loved doing that part. But for me, oh my brother, he didn't play the piano. He played the guitar. My sister was super organized and smart, always getting straight A's. And the little one was the little one. It's so cute, and she did. And I was the middle kid, so you all have a special place in your family, and find your place, find your passion, and be confident that yes, your parents still love you. Your grandparents love you even more, and just be sure that your family loves you and they are there to support you.
That's great, Ana. I didn't have that problem because I was the best in the family. No, I'm just kidding. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about what you'd like your readers to learn about their place in the family?
Yeah, I think it would be nice for readers to take away from Dinner on Domingos first that abuelas are so special, and they all have such wonderful stories to share. And part of my reason for learning Spanish in the first place and working really hard at it was to be able to really hear those stories firsthand from my abuelita and to connect with her on that level. So maybe kids reading this maybe are struggling between learning a new language or struggling between connecting with their abuelos in some way. And so hopefully they know that it can be tough. And it does take time and effort. But I'm so thankful that I pushed through and learned a language, because if I hadn't, I don't think I would be nearly as close to my abuelita if I hadn't. And also, I think enjoying those moments together, screen free together, playing, hanging out. Those moments are just for me just like super special. And, you don't realize it in the moment. So hopefully they embrace culture and those times together, and know that it's not going to last forever, and it's super special. It's cheesy, but it's what it is.
Not cheesy at all. Yeah, I agree. Those moments don't last forever. I wrote my own story for my abuelita, and sadly, she passed before she'll get to see the publication of it. But she knew that
I'm
it was there.
sorry.
She got to read the story. Thank you. But it is a good reminder that those people are not necessarily going to be there forever, the older generations. So we want to appreciate that time we have with them. Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Joanna, what do you hope your readers will learn about their place in the family?
So, well, first of all, I want them to see that everyone matters in the family, and that we all have like a role to play, and everyone can help. I think that's a big thing, and everyone can um, should have empathy and see what they can do to help within their own family. I think with BISA'S Carnaval, Clara, Bisa is the one who's giving to everyone, but she's older. She cannot be like participate in the big festival. She can't go to the party. Bottom line is, and I think when Clara realizes that Bisa is not there, she's the something missing. She has this huge love for her Bisa, and she just can't accept that she's not enjoying that moment, that they prepared for that moment for that period of time, and now they're not together to enjoy and celebrate. So she brings everyone back to and they have their own little private carnival with Bisa. And like others have said, the older generations, they are the ones who they have such rich stories to share, and it's we shouldn't miss the opportunity to listen to those stories and soak in and take them with us, and so that we can share with the future generations. So I think that's what I really hope the readers can take from it.
Thank you so much, Joanna. What I really hope that my readers get out of my book is particularly those readers who maybe, like me, have family in another country, or even not in another country, but who are culturally different from them. Maybe if you're being raised in the United States, you might feel that sort of being stuck between the two cultures and not completely belonging to either, but belonging to both at the same time. And what I would like readers to get out of it is that not to ever feel ashamed or less than because of that belonging to both cultures, but rather to embrace that identity. Because there's a reason that it's Latinx, right? It's not, there is no one kind of Latina, Latino, Latine, right? We are white, we are brown, we are Asian, we are Jewish, we are Catholic, we are all kinds of things, right? So I really want young readers to embrace their identity, whatever it is, and to know that your family is your family, no matter where they are, no matter where they come from, no matter where you are living they love you unconditionally. And they're not feeling that same sense of shame that you might be feeling if you don't speak the language or you don't look completely like them. They are not looking at you that same way. And it's taken me my entire life to realize that my family is that place of unconditional love no matter what. So be proud of who you are, embrace who you are, and embrace the love of your family. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. We'll start with you again, Michael. How does your book speak to children who are being raised with more than one culture? So a little bit about what we were just talking about. And what message would you like those children to derive about their culture from reading your book?
First of all, Monica, I love every single thing of what you just said about your book. It speaks to me directly. Last year, I came out with a book, wanted to share it with you, called Accordionly, Abuelo and Opa Make Music, because it is the story of a little boy who brings the two cultures of his family together through the music, and through the music of the accordion, which his two grandfathers play, Abuelo and Opa, and they don't speak each other's languages, but they teach each other the music of their countries, right? And so it's a book about finding common threads that connect us. It's the story that came from my family as well. This is my father holding the accordion as a little boy, standing next to his brother and my grandparents, who are Swiss Americans. My father is Swiss American. Anyway, I think another common thread is tradition, as I've mentioned before, and I think every family has traditions. And May Your Life Deliciosa is all about showcasing family tradition. And it's 100% about feeling pride, in your culture and your heritage and all that goes with it, language, food, clothing, customs. So I hope that readers will take away the message of pride. And in particular, if you are a child who comes from mixed cultures, that you enjoy the richness of every single culture that makes you you. That's my hope.
That's beautiful. And the tradition of music particularly resonates with me. I learned to play the piano in my abuelita's house, and that piano is still sitting there, and it still brings tears to my eyes every time I see the next generation sitting at that piano and playing that piano. It's
Yeah.
a universal language, definitely.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Ana? What would you like children who maybe come from more than one culture to get out of reading your books?
Okay, well, in this book, I'm presenting Abuela as Hispanic, right? And they do polvorones with dulce de leche. But in Brazil, we have the same thing that is called casadinhos. So what I did, I mixed, because normally polvorone is made with guava paste. They put a little hole and put the guava paste. But because in Brazil it's with dulce de leche, we do the casadinhos. It's those two, you do like a cookie sandwich with a doce de leite. That's how we say in the middle. I decided to put both, and I put then polvorones with dulce de leche. I want to put with brigadeiros, but my editor preferred the dulce de leche. So I think it's so fun to have all those cultures. So I live all three cultures together, and my grandkids too. So we have the Buenas Noche Buena with the Cubans, but we also have Festa Junina with the Brazilians, and it's so rich that the kids can participate in all of that, and even like my stepdaughter is Cuban, but her kids can participate in the Brazilian traditions, and my grandson can participate in the Cuban traditions. We can participate in the American traditions. So I think, oh, it's so rich. Knowing so many different cultures, we all should be proud. I agree with Michael that the most important message is be proud that you have, you belong to two or three cultures, or more. And the more you know about different cultures, I tell them the bigger your heart is, because then you can understand other cultures, other people. And I think this is very important for the kids who read the books. They get so happy. Like, I don't do that many school presentations because I'm a full-time teacher, but when I go in a panel or something and a kid, and I say, who can understand that word, because my book has a lot of Spanish words into it, and they can understand and they feel so proud. So it's so important for them to see then in all these books, because then they will feel so proud of their culture too. So I'll have some books with Portuguese words too soon, so we can make Brazilians also very proud.
That's beautiful. I love that message of the more that you know about other cultures, the bigger your heart is. That's absolutely true. Love it. Thank you, Ana. Alex, what about you?
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to talk about being proud of where you came from, embracing your culture and your family. So I guess to try to mix it up, be a little more original, I guess I'd say learning how to cook food. Like, I know a couple of us have recipes, and I learned a lot later than I probably should have how to make some very traditional food from Ecuador, and being able to pass those along to my family has been super special. For me, just being able to like cook the way my abuelita did and share that is just, I really love the connective power of food. And I feel like if kids take away that, like, maybe next time in the kitchen, they can join in and participate and be a part of that, because it's such an experience. And that's definitely something they will carry with them forever. Like, every time I make locro, I think of my abuelita. And every time I make meatballs, I think of my Sicilian grandma on the other side. So maybe kids can know that, like, being a part of that in the kitchen is something that will last, that will live in their hearts for a long time also.
I love that. Yes, food features, I think, prominently in all of our books. And it really is, it is like storytelling, or music, like some of us have talked about. That's one of those traditions that's just passed down through the generations. I still love making all the sopas that my abuelita made, which unfortunately I had to learn how to do on my own, because she never used the same recipe. So anytime I would ask, it was different every time.
They never do. They're always mixing it up. I was like, oh, it's in my head.
That's the way real food is made, right? With love and inspiration. What about you, Joanna? How do you think, what is it that you would like to impart to your readers about belonging to more than one culture?
So I guess being proud is the big thing, the big theme. But yeah, I want my reader to be proud of their heritage and want to share and be curious and want to know more. And the same for the other readers. I want them, like, to learn a bit more about Brazil and then go after more information. But also to change it up a bit, I think us, like, I have 3 kids. My husband is also Brazilian, and our kids were born here. And I think we are immersed in American culture. So when the kids were younger, like until before school, they became school age children, it was very easy to just, like, to have them only speaking Portuguese and watching Brazilian TV, and having them more being raised as a Brazilian, more as a Brazilian, even though they still would go to the little play gyms and the library, and they had contact with English culture, American culture and English language, but they were a lot more immersed in Brazilian culture within our house. But once they start school, that all changes. It's like they start, it becomes very difficult to keep, bringing our culture, and there is an imbalance there, because they start favoring American culture and the English language, because all of a sudden they know they have more vocabulary in English than in Portuguese. So all of a sudden you are in this, like, you're trying to keep your language going, you're trying to keep them your heritage alive with them, and it's just so hard. So I think the more resources we have, the better. And I think honestly, like, I feel like books that have Brazil as background are even more rare than the ones with other Latinx's Latin cultures. There are a lot. There are. I don't want to say a lot, because still there are a lot more about Americans and white people, but there are much more Latin Hispanic speaking countries than Portuguese, than Brazil out there. So I felt like that's especially important, and I hope more come out.
Absolutely. And I think that we are on that road. And look, Brazil is representing today in our panel. So we all need to go out and buy those books, and hope that you guys bring many, many more books about Brazilian culture into our literary universe. Okay, so I think that we now are going to turn to some student questions. Our first question is from Kylie L. in Santa Ynez, California.
Hi, my name is Kylie. I am from California. Were any of your characters in your books based on you when you were younger?
Michael, do you want to start?
Well, sort of indirectly. The character, the whole setting of the tamalada in May Your Life Be Deliciosa, as I mentioned before, comes from my experience of being the only little boy in this kitchen filled with, my sisters and my primas and my abuela and tia and my mama, and so I'm not a character in the book per se, but I think the character is the tamalada, right? Is the tradition. So yeah, indirectly. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Michael. Ana, do you want to add to that? Were any of the characters in your books based on you when you were younger?
I think all the characters that we write has a little bit of us, right? We like, for example, Bella, she is a little bit jealous of her siblings. I was a little jealous. I thought like I was not as special as my brother and sister. When I wrote the book, I was not realizing that, but one day I was like in a blog and somebody asked me the question. I said, yeah, it does have some of me there too. I was like, why are they so special and I'm not? But I think we always put a little bit of ourselves in all the characters in all the books. All our experience somehow goes in our books, even like as Joanna said, she didn't even remember, and after she wrote the book she remembered things that happened to her. So there is always a little bit of us in the characters, all the characters, I think. I'm also the abuela there because I'm very nice. I'm a very nice abuela. So I'm there like helping a little bit. The abuela just guides her a little bit. I might be more like, I don't guide too much. I really help it. Let's do it together. The abuela is more like guiding. But yeah, I think we are always present in our characters in our books.
Yes, of course. The best writing comes from our own experiences. Yeah. Alex, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even original. The young girl's name in the book is Alejandra. My mom was originally going to call me Alejandra. My name's Alexandra, so I didn't really even change up my name because it's pretty much me as a young child navigating this, the multi-generational chaos and trying to learn Spanish. And yeah, it's me.
Yeah, I wasn't very subtle either. Mariana, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. How about you, Joanna? Were any of your characters based on you?
Like everyone has said, yes, yeah. I guess not based exactly, but certainly there's a huge influence of my childhood there. And like I said before, it was like growing up making stuff and planning, and that's all in Bisa's Carnaval. And I grew up like that, and not by coincidence I became an architect even, so want something more planning than that. So yeah, so for sure, yes.
Thank you. Let's see what our next question is. Okay, so our next question is from Autumn G, who's in 5th grade in Olympia, Washington. Why is this book special to you? Okay, Michael, let's start with you. Why is your book special to you?
It's for so many reasons, and we've sort of captured so much of this in previous questions, but I think in a very central way, it's because it is a story, as I mentioned, that comes right from my heart and my personal experiences about family. But also, for me, this is a tribute to the women in my family, very strong women, my mom and my aunt and my abuela. And I had a particularly special bond with my abuela. So I really wanted to write something that was a tribute to her and what she gave me, not just tradition and storytelling, but love. I mean, just sort of pure love. And so it's a tribute to all the women in my family and to my abuela in particular.
That's beautiful, Michael. And one of the questions we didn't get to was why do we think the abuela features so prominently in picture books? And I think it's exactly that, because they are the matriarchs of the family, but also they are unconditional love, right? And it resonates with children. Thank you. Ana, how would you like to answer this question? Why is this book special to you?
Okay, this book is special to me. Okay, of course, because of the family, and there is this delicious recipe, but it's especially special for me because I'm a teacher, and I want the kids to know you can always try again. We've been talking a lot as educators, the growth mindset, like you have to keep trying. Making mistake is okay. And because I come from a family of perfectionists, everybody, like my father would say, like, if you do whatever you do, even if you're like collecting trash, you have to be the best. And it's then we had that mentality, we had to be the best in everything. And I think that's not the right message. The message is try your best, work your best. You don't have to be the best. Like in the writing community, we see that we all help each other. We all want everybody to be their best. I don't need to be the best writer. I need to do my best. So I think it's a very important message that I want the kids to realize. Just try your best. And if you make a mistake, try again, and you can do it. You learn with your mistakes. So I think that's why this book is so special to me.
I love that. Thank you. Yes, my favorite expression that gets circulated in the writing community is comparison is the thief of joy. Okay, Alex, how about you? Why is this book special to you?
Yeah, Michael's pretty much stealing a lot of my answers, but that's okay. My book is special because it's really, like I said, it's my love letter to those family dinners, and not even realizing in that moment how special they were, but looking back on it now and being able to share those dinners with everybody. And I think what's been really special so far, my book just came out, but I'm already hearing from all kinds of friends, like Vietnamese, Korean. Like from all over. My friends are from all over, and they said that this book touches something special for them and reminds them of their family dinners. And so I think what's special to me is being able to, like, not only share my memories, but have people remember their own fond moments together as family, and then share that with their kids, hopefully when they're reading the books. That's been like a huge part of the joy of this book being launched, is people saying, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not Ecuadorian, but this book reminded me of dinners at my grandma's house, and that's been really cool.
Beautiful. I love that. Joanna, how about you? Why is this book special to you?
Well, I'm loving all of the answers, and I will take all of them for me myself too. And I'm going to add that when I started writing this book in 2018. So it was a book about family, about love, and about sharing this beautiful celebration that we have in Brazil. And I wanted to write a big, vibrant, colorful book. I wanted to share that. This was 2018, but then 3 years later, now after living through the pandemic, we're still living through it. I feel like one big message here, one big meaning to me is that not to take the get-togethers, being together as for granted. Like it's just that's big now. Now we see how important it is together to appreciate every moment that we have with the people we love.
That's beautiful, Joanna. I completely agree. My book is special to me in one word because of my abuelita. And especially now that she has passed, to me, this book has always been a tribute to her and to my entire family in Ensenada. And I hope that they read this book and see that that I was shy, not because I didn't have a lot to say, but because it was so important to me to say it right and for them to know me. And I really hope that my family gets something special out of it, and that other children who have gone through the same experience as me, that it resonates with them. Okay, we only have a couple minutes left. We have one more question from Maya W., who's in 7th grade in Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Hi, my name is Maya, and my question is, do you have any strategies for when you have writer's block?
Okay, we have 2 minutes. Who wants to take this question? Okay, Michael, yes, tell us. What do you do when you have writer's block?
You take a break. Just go for a walk, or go play with your friends, or go do something, fun, and try not to sweat it, because you want the inspiration and stories to come to you naturally, right? I don't know how many stories come to me in the grocery store, but many, right? Or at the gym or whatever. So take a break and relax and try to dial down the worry, right? Because then you're going to be sort of liberated, and the stories will come to you in unexpected places.
Absolutely. Anybody else have any sage advice for overcoming writer's block?
I can add that other than putting it aside and not thinking about the story, I think to write a good story, to write a story, you need information. So go read, go watch a movie, watch the news. I think that's important too, because writing a book is like solving a little puzzle, and you have to put those pieces together, and then you probably writer's block will go away, and you'll be able to sit down and write.
And I will also add to that in our last 30 seconds that once you get that flow back, keep writing every single day if you can, because it's really like anything else, like learning how to play a sport, or learning, or if you're trying to exercise and get yourself stronger, you go to the gym every single day. And when you stop, it seems a little bit hard to get back into it. So just keep that flow going as long as you can. And then it becomes like habit. It's that muscle memory. Well, thank you so much to all of our wonderful panelists. It was so much fun to speak with all of you today and learn about your experiences and your cultural background and your books. And I hope that everyone goes out and buys your books, checks them out at the library, and learn something from them. And to our audience, thank you so much for attending the Celebrating the Familia panel in Picture Books panel, at the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thanks.